Hare Krishna, everyone. Trampling upon a snake, part 2. Yes. As promised, we talk about how it is possible that even though the wife is the most well-meaning to the husband, she could block and hamper his spiritual life if she doesn't know, or if she doesn't understand at least a little bit about this hero this principle and what makes the male false ego bite. What makes the male false ego feeling embarrassed and useless and taking away the inspiration from him. Okay. Let's first understand that a man is, as we all know probably, quite competitive. It's a very competitive nature because part of being the hero is means being the best. So there's naturally some competitive mood. We see that between men. Sport can get serious pretty quick. Even if it's just supposed to be a fun game, can get serious very quickly because of this competitive nature. So if a man was to play against a lady and lose, again, he wouldn't be the hero, he would be the loser. It's the most painful thing. So what a man does, he's only competing in areas where he can win. And if he notices, well, this area he cannot win, he won't compete. It's as simple as that. Just so he is not the loser. And we have to understand that when we go into that example I want to give. And that is actually happening. I don't have a practical example. I can't give an example of a couple where it is happening, but it is happening in, bigger and smaller scales all over the world. Within ISKCON, within our ISKCON marriages. In all marriages, but we talk about devotional life here. So it affects us. Men avoid competing with women if they know they lose. If the woman is better. What to speak with a wife? He wants to be the hero for his wife. That makes him thrive. The worst thing would be to be the loser in the eyes of his wife. If he would be the loser, if he would think his wife, if the wife would think he's a loser, he's useless. He has no, what's the point? I would be better off without him. It's the most painful thing for the man. So understanding, and then he will react in funny ways. Bite, false ego. Snake. And she wants to pat him on the back, give him a nice stroke, having a loving exchange, not knowing that is a reflex for him to bite back. And it happens so often. So I do not know the way ladies inspire each other. But I would assume it's different than men inspire each other. Okay. So let's take a situation where for some reason the husband is struggling with his devotional service. Maybe he's struggling financially or work, whatever. There's some struggles there which takes his attention away from devotional service, right? And his reading goes down. Maybe he doesn't read anymore at all. His chanting is all over the place because whatever, Say he's in a struggling situation, barely goes to the temple, barely does any other activities, just try to, keep his chanting together, for example. Like a struggling situation. And naturally, the wife is concerned out of her affection for him, out of her care for him. Right? Naturally, the wife is concerned and wants to help. And she thinks about ways how to help. He was always, before he was he always liked going on book distribution, for example. But since he's been working, he couldn't go anymore and so on. Now maybe the wife is going on books, right? Maybe and then she just thinks, oh, maybe I can inspire him by sharing her experience and trying to, and rekindling his desire to, maybe, books would be a nice idea. Okay, so she starts sharing that she met such a nice person. That person came to the temple, came to the preaching center. Or, we got some, 10 books today, something like that. She shares and tries in that way to rekindle his desire for book distribution. But what may he think? Well, I'm struggling with work, this and that. I'm never gonna get out. What? She's distributing 10 books? Oh, well, I never distributed 10 books a day. Oh, she's better than that. Well, that's her field of action. I'm not sure if I was too fast. Right? He would think, if I am going out on books, I wouldn't be able to distribute 10 books. So, well, that's then his wife's expertise. So he doesn't even want to go out on books anymore because he wouldn't be able to compete with her. It's a psychological thing. I hope it becomes clear. So automatically this area of devotional service will be a no for him anymore. Okay, no books. It's her service. Then she realizes, well, it doesn't quite work to inspire him for book distribution. Well, of course, he's also tired after work, so maybe kirtan, maybe she is, very talented with instruments, playing harmonium and maybe other, even mridanga very well, maybe even other instruments. So she has a very good musical talent here, and has a nice voice, And maybe she tries to, encourage him to come to kirtans. Maybe he could play cartels for her. Wouldn't that be nice? And she's she's the center of the stage, so to say. And he just plays cartels. The intentions, for example, as well. Or maybe she wants to teach him how to play harmonium so he can lead a kirtan. But again, what is it? It means she's taking the superior position. She is trying to help him, and he needs the help. And how could he ever catch up with her? He's not, has no musical talent, for example, and what's the point even trying, All right, kirtan, her department. And she thinks, even that didn't work. What about God? He'd always like to give class. She may give some online classes or temple classes or preaching outreach classes, and then she shares about her classes and what she's all doing, and he thinks, she can talk so well, she expresses her ideas so well. I can't do that, and I don't have time for reading. What type of class could I give? And classes, you guessed it, it's her service. And again, step by step, with the best intentions from her heart, from her side. Trying to help inspire the man, not understanding that he will not compete in an area where she is better, and she taking the superior position, trying to, showing that, well, I'm ready, I'm here to help you, let me help you. And that's the most painful thing, he needing help from her. She can slowly but steadily push him out of all the areas of service she tried to inspire him. Because he will think, well, that's her service. Deity worship, dressing deity, if she's very expert in that, well, what can he do? For myself, I'm just overwhelmed. Looking at, this jewelry and all those colors, it really just shortcuts my brain. When I look on the altar, morning, the night dress, I can cope with that. But the day dress, all this opulence, jewelry, sparkling. My eyes are not the best as well. A little bit blurry on the distance. I don't need glasses for everyday life, but on the altar, it's just too much for me. If I look for, I do pujari service. I'm the greeting. I do arti and the food offering, and that's fine. But the difficult thing for me is just finding the matching cloth for the conch shell or something like that. It's like you open that drawer and all those colors, and oh my God, my brain can't cope with it. It's the same thing if she is good in dressing and so on. Wow. Well, it's her service then. And my personal experience here is, I'm, my wife is in Krishna consciousness for longer. Is also Brahmin initiated. Did service on the altar, dressing Gauranitai before, and so we had also Gauranitai deities herself, and then bringing that into the relation, bringing the lords into our relationship. And obviously, I wanted to know. Let's because I was interested. Let's learn how to worship Gauranitai, how to bathe them and dress them. So I asked her if she can show me, or can't remember, it's so long ago now, and she said sure. And I was, explaining a little bit, but then while I was doing it, I had this person next to me, trying to, maybe this, and I got really, really agitated. And I was glad when it was over. It wasn't the right thing. She helped me. She was instructing me. My false ego was so triggered back then. And it would still be, I guess, because, hopefully a little bit more purified, but who knows? It was really challenging. And I didn't know all those things back then. I didn't deal with the topic back then. It was just really, I could feel that's not right. I couldn't really put my finger on it. We had some arguments about it because I was really hissing and like the snake, but, on the back. And she just wanted to help me. Best intentions. Explaining how we can worship Gauranitai, bathe them. Simple thing. Wasn't right. There was some conflict there. And then I got second initiation and wanted to also worship a Shalogram Shila. And luckily, I thought, well, if I asked my wife, it's probably not a good idea. So I told her, I'm gonna ask my god brother, he's worshipping Shalogram Shila for a long time, and I'll go there. It was a big trip, not big trip, but it wasn't, obviously, it took more time to learn from him than to learn from her. She was perfectly qualified. But it was better for me to learn from him. Having a senior godbrother explaining to me, that's when I'm in the right position. Of course, he's superior, I'm inferior, easy deasy. False ego can accept that. But I want to be the hero for my wife. I'm supposed to be superior. Otherwise, I can't be the hero. And up to this day, I'm not interested in dressing deities. It's her service. I know it's false ego. I know it's, I know my weakness is it. Just all those colors is just overwhelming to me. Dealing with it would be such an austerity. And from my experience back then, maybe, one day I'll get over it. But at my current stage of, little advancement I'm in, it's her service. Just don't even, as weird as it sounds, it's her service. It's not her fault that I'm not interested in, but we can just see how understanding those dynamics can prevent that situation. Instead of, when the husband asks, can you show me that? The wife could say, well, I could, but what about your god brother? He's really good in that. Or such Prabhu in the temple, such and such. He could show you. And he could teach you more, and he has this one trick I need to learn, but I cannot ask him. That's not according to Vaishnava etiquette. Maybe you can teach me his trick. Wow, how would he be inspired? Even though she dresses already for so long and he never dressed, he can still teach her something if he goes to that and that Prabhu or his godbrother and so on. Right? So, I gave already the answer. So if the wife cannot inspire a man by sharing and this, obviously there are different ways. but the wife, if she understands that hero aspect, how, if she is in a superior position, if he feels, if she needs to help him, if he feels like that, like she needs to help him, she needs to instruct him, she's in a superior position, that this is like trampling upon a snake and the false ego can't do anything different than bite back and hiss and can't tolerate it, right? It's like that for a man. How can the lady inspire him if he's struggling? And I just mentioned that already. All right? The best way for a lady to inspire him is what? Damsel in distress. Prabhu, can you help me with that? And he'll do it. He'll help you. The wife can use that hero factor to help him while he believes he's helping the wife. And that will inspire him. It will prevent this hissing and false ego things from his side. That's the best way. Hey, can you help me? I don't understand this part of the Bhagavatam so well. I'm supposed to give class. I don't know what to start. Here's the verse. Do we have any idea? And what is he doing? Well, he at least reads one verse and one purport. He hasn't been reading for say a month, 2 months, a year, maybe 5 years. He didn't open one of the books because he's so occupied with other things. I mean, hopefully it's not 5 years, right? But, instead of trying to get him to read, because you tell him what you read just to inspire him, and he just feels like, reading, it's her service, you can ask him for help. But nowadays, obviously, false ego also on the lady's side doesn't allow her to ask for help, to feel dependent on the husband. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I don't want to go too deeply into that. But we can see that's a very simple solution. Understanding that issue of, how painful it is for a man to accept help from the wife, because he's supposed to be the hero, not and he's supposed to help. Just using that as an expert wife to help him, simply asking for help. Hey Prabhu, I need help. Can you help me with that verse? I don't know how to start my class. Do you have any idea? And then you could even ask, I would feel better if you sit in class and be there for me. And then she could even say in class, well, I don't understand the topic so well, but my husband had a really good idea. And he is the hero in front of the whole community, right? He is her hero. She tells him how he helped her preparing that class. Well, that will inspire the guy. A man needs to feel needed. If you want to help your husband when he is struggling, ask for help. Can you help me with this? And he'll do it. That's your power. That's the secret in that aspect. Understanding that dynamic. And then you're not pressing onto the snake, onto the back. He will not bite. He will feel appreciated, and he will reciprocate in a positive way. It's as simple as that. Understanding that will avoid so many issues. Maybe not as many as the nothing box, but happens all the time. Right? Happens all the time. So again, that's something to think deeply about. And again, I'm just touching that topic. I don't want to discuss it on end, all the details and so on. But I hope it makes sense. If there are questions, please write to me. Ask in the, maybe in the comment section. Even though I'm not such a social media person, I'm probably better in email. At the same time, we can have discussions in the comment section if But I'm just may not be as timely as others. Okay. It's so important to understand those things. We can avoid so much unnecessary problems, unnecessary arguments, wasting so much energy. We have better things to do. So let's understand it. And let's approach it from the right way. Because if we are disturbed, how can we practice Krishna consciousness? How can we chant if we are so disturbed in mind? And how can we not be disturbed in mind if we don't know the nothing box, if we don't know trampling upon a snake, if we don't know the differences between men and women, how we deal with things, how it's not about the nail, it doesn't make sense to the man, how it's not about, well, if there's a problem with that person, just don't see that person, don't talk to that person, look for another friend, look for another work. With the previous, if we don't understand those things, we end up wasting so much energy we could so much better invest for our devotional future, for our relationship. We would be thriving in our relationships. We would be thriving in devotional service. Little things like that. I think that's enough for the not nothing box, for the snake, for the hero. Could elaborate so much more. I probably forgot quite a few things as well, but it doesn't matter. I think I think it's all said to that topic. Enough, at least, to be able to process it sufficiently for the purpose of that presentation, and you can dive in that topic at your own time. It's a big topic, men and women, and it's so needed for us. It's so important for us to understand for our devotional service, because Grihasta life, Grihasta Ashram, is that ashram we spend the most time of our life in. That's the ashram where the most purifications can take place if we do it right, or no purification if it doesn't. Again, if he's not a hero, if he doesn't feel needed, what does he do? He becomes a caveman. He withdraws. He doesn't go out and fight. He withdraws. Goes in the cave. If he doesn't get his nothing box time, if he isn't charged, what is he doing? He's retreating somewhere where he can maybe find some charge, recharge a little bit. That's the male cave. So we have two factors already pushing the man into a cave. No nothing box, not being the hero, not being allowed to be the hero. Yeah, you can see, even if the wife has the best intentions, simply actually wants to care for him, that can happen if she doesn't understand those mechanics. But what if the wife is maybe not so well-meaning? God forbid that happens anywhere. But it's Kali Yuga. We are not that selfless, right? We're not that caring. Material life is not about care. Material life is about exploiting. That's where we come from, exploitation. And that's what we bring into our devotional practice. That's that whole attitude we bring into our relationships with devotees. And of course then also with our marriage relationships. So our motives are not always that pure. But even if the motive is pure, we can really block each other's devotional life if we don't understand those finer issues, those finer intricacies. And it's not rocket science, it's pretty straightforward. Because ladies don't understand so often that men's brains are so simple. Men's brains are really, really simple. In many aspects. Not that we're simple personalities or so, but it's really simple mechanics. That's why I use that term mechanics, because you can really apply it mechanically. All right. So again, that's enough said about the nothing, not the nothing box. I made the same mistake again. It's enough about the hero aspect. It's enough about the trampling upon a snake. I hope the principle is clear. If not, let me know, and I'll with specific questions. But again, we can discuss on a different forum more for that presentation. It should be enough. And what else is there in the preparation before we go into solving that big misunderstanding is, as I mentioned before, there is this topic of the male movie theater. But I think I'll start with embarrassing hormones first. And we do the male side and the women's side. We start with the man, and I think we do that next time. We start with the embarrassing hormones. Hormone cycle of a man, hormone cycle of a woman. It's a topic we need to talk about. And I don't want to be, ruthless here or anyway. It's just to be aware. So it's nothing to be scared of. Nothing to be embarrassed by. I think we're going to do that next time. And again, I thank you for your kind attention. And I hope you learned some little thing which is applicable in your relationship, in your situation. Instead of helping, maybe it's just enough to ask for help. Some little things, some little adjustment can be done. And you're not the different person. No one has to be someone he's not. No one has to be someone she is not. When we understand, we automatically act differently. I hope I could add some value here. I hope I could provide something you can use in your life. And I hope I'll be providing much more. That's the aim. That's the purpose of me trying to present what I'm trying to present. And we are soon there. Just a few more short topics before we actually reach that point of that big misunderstanding, and then hopefully everything comes together. Why I'm presenting what I'm presenting, what I have presented, what I've been presenting so far, and where it's all gonna lead. That will become clear in 3 to 5, 6 sessions, something like that. And we will be at the heart of the presentation before we then discuss just a few issues a few things on the way out as an epilogue sort of thing, like entering marriage, for example. That will be after the heart of the retreat presentation. Thank you so much for your attention, and I'll stop talking now finally. Hare Krishna.